Brother Dale, your comment on this test squad for West Indies against New Zealand. Can West Indies survive without the two Josephs?
Yes, thank you. Well, of course, it will be difficult for them to, miss their two of their three top fast bowlers. We are not like Australia, who have that kind of depth, even though we should have, a deeper pool to select from. But the point is, we don't have it, and we can't magically come up with it. Roach did not really do anything to warrant losing his place in the team, except for his age. He's a very skillful bowler, and they will need a mature bowler to lead the attack and to mentally, the youngsters that are on the team in the absence of Alzarri Joseph and Shamar Joseph. Mm-hmm. So we wish them all the very best. And those that are selected, we have to wish that they rise to the occasion and perform better than their record suggests, because New Zealand is not an easy place to play based on their conditions that they have there. They had training camps, they had players over there early. So let's see if it will pan out to anything, but New Zealand have a good bowling attack. Our bowling attack was our strength, but as I said before, we do not have the type of depth in our system right now to make up for losing bowlers of the quality of Shamar Joseph and, of course, Alzarri Joseph. Otherwise, I'm happy with the squad.
Thank you. Roland, if you are hearing us, are you able to give us your comment on this test squad and how you think West Indies might fare against the might of New Zealand?
Yeah, I think pretty much, it's going to be a very difficult tour because New Zealand is not an easy place to play cricket. New Zealand at home, certainly for some time now, has been extremely strong at home. I think they've got a good combination of some top-line batters. They've also got some very skilled bowlers. People like Matt Henry and are doing a good job for New Zealand. So West Indies' job is going to be very difficult. And the fact that they're missing key players also is important. I think Roach's recall, he should do quite well, providing he's got the match and fitness levels in New Zealand, because that type of bowler in New Zealand can do quite well. But you mustn't underestimate the task. It's a huge task. West Indies have not been getting the results for some time, so they're going into a series hoping for the best. You can't say they're going in with any confidence that they will get a result. But I'm also perhaps a little bit concerned that, New Zealand now have got some pretty fast bowlers as well, not just one or two. So that's going to be an element they're going to have to contend with. Obviously, of late, we've noticed that they've had great difficulty against the fast bowlers. So I would expect similar situations. We may remember the last time they were there. Wagner, who's slower than Matt Henry and others, caused them a tremendous amount of discomfort. So it's going to be a rough ride, definitely.
All right. Thank you so much for your contributions. Professor, your comment on the squad and whether or not you think West Indies can step up to the plate this time round?
Well, yes, I think they're going to do quite well. I think that the bats are coming alive. And I'm more impressed by the fact that they have a psychologist traveling with the team now. And therefore, they might be in a better position to deal with the setbacks that they have been having and come out of and be motivated to turn it around. And I don't know if they had that benefit over the last year or so. And I would expect that having a motivational person with them, even though they've been going through some trials, will have an impact on the team. I mean, and that the team recognize that they have a 13th or a 12th member on the team who does not take the field, but take the field with them mentally, and has a capacity to sit with the team. So while two are on the field batting, they're nine sitting there being at least comforted or being encouraged, okay, to stay focused. And that is what I would expect adding an extra force to the team should mean. So if we made an improvement by having a psychologist there, or a mind power or a mindset person, okay, to work with the team all during the 5 days that the match is going to take place, I am expecting better results from the team. So I think they have the strokes. They have done it inconsistently. They have batted at different points, showed that they have the ability to bat. And every time we normally spoke about them, we spoke about their lack of concentration or giving up cheap wickets. And I'm saying that I expect them to do better because they have a 12th member there with them to steady them when things might be falling apart. I expect them to do quite well.
Thank you, Professor. Virgil, do you think that the West Indies, being short of their top two bowlers, will be able to tame New Zealand?
I think it's going to be very hard, but if our guys play like test match cricket, I think we can give a good fight. But if they want to impress the T20 crowd, we gonna get the ass whooping. So I hope, in a sense, they really put down their head and try their best to play test match cricket.
Thank you, Virgil. Donna, you heard the comments so far. Is Virgil right? We can do well with what we've got? Or are we likely, meaning we, the West Indies, likely to be in for a drubbing, according to Virgil?
I am hopeful that they would at least be competitive. I'm not putting my hopes too high, but I will just wish them all the best. Okay?
Yes, all right, thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you. Ivor, any comments on the squad?
Yes, indeed. We have 3 opening batsmen, and we're fighting hard to get one out of the 3 of them. I'm happy that Kevin Hodge has been returned. Don't see why he was left out in the first place. Kima Roach, again, I'm happy that he's back. I don't see why he was left out, because experience is a great teacher. And he's back. Hopefully that he'll do well. I don't know what the 11 is going to be like. I'm still concerned about our vice captain has been thrust into the vice captaincy role. Don't know if that's a role that he should be playing. I'm concerned about players burnt out. We have our premier 2 captains, white ball and red ball, playing all formats. We have Athenaeus playing all formats. We have one of the opening batters there playing 2 of the 3 formats. And it's only hope that I can see there in the white ball format who's making some kind of headway. So I hope that in cricketing terms that they can put things together and play as a team. And as Donna said, be competitive. But I still believe that they can win, because New Zealand went to India when nobody think that they could have beaten India in India. Well, I think it's about time we go to New Zealand and beat New Zealand in New Zealand. Again, work with what we have. It is what it is. Let's will the boys on. And that's my take.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I don't know, any comments from you, Myrtrice?
No, I'm just praying that they do something constructive and win a game or two.
All
That's
right.
it.
Sounds like some good advice. Now, let me address this. Do you have any comment on what we've discussed so far, Hyacinth? You're still mute. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'm looking up.
All right.
No, I just know they're going to do better.
All right. Thank you for that.
I'm thinking positive.
Appreciate it. Brother Dale, I'm directing this one to you, and Ivor just mentioned about the high volume of work on 2 or 3 of these players. And earlier this week, the Cricket West Indies had a news conference, and one of the questions posed to Coach Darren Sammy was the enormous workload on the shoulders of Shai Hope, given that he's the captain, he's a wicketkeeper batter, and he does produce a lot of work for the West Indies and runs. So the question posed to him was whether or not Shai Hope was being overworked as a wicketkeeper. Should the West Indies consider including a second wicketkeeper to take the workload of Shai Hope? And the answer I will tell you afterwards, after you've commented.
You said take a second wicketkeeper to where?
So, have a second wicketkeeper in the team that can rotate so that Shai Hope would not have to be keeping wicket and batting and guarding and doing all the work he does in every game that he's involved with.
Okay. Well, first of all, what Ivor brought up, the point that he brought up is a legitimate point because there is serious concerns about overwork. You shouldn't have these players playing all formats, and to Hope specifically, as you know, we have done a comprehensive study about wicket keepers and the wicket keepers, the workload that they put in. Most other teams make sure that the wicket keepers do not keep in 2 formats. You may be the test wicket keeper. India is a good example of that. And or England, if you keep wicket in tests and you're playing one day, you're not going to play as the wicket keeper. You'll play as a specialist batsman. And that, I think, would be the wise thing for them to do. Usually there's another keeper in the team. And for example, in this test team, you have Imlak. And Imlak did wicket keep in the last time they played test cricket. So we are hoping that they continue that trend and let Imlak keep wicket and Hope focus on his batting. But even Chase, I don't know why he's playing so much cricket, playing across all formats. They should be getting themselves ready, in his case as the test captain, getting ready for test cricket. I know he plays well on occasion, but for the most part, you're looking for burnout, and not only the physical burnout, but the mental burnout.
Thank you, Brother Dale. Roland, if you're still hearing us, anything that you disagree with from what Brother Dale has said?
No, I think, obviously workload is always a concern, particularly, in a losing team when someone is carrying most of the burden. Sheer hope is critical to deciding in all the formats. And the fact that he has to keep is an added burden that But at the same time, they have to balance that with balancing the team. Whether, with Shea Hope as wicketkeeper, it then gives the flexibility, depending on conditions, to play either an extra batsman or an extra bowler, or whether that bowler is a fast bowler or a spinner. Now, if Shea Hope takes the gloves off and becomes only a batter, then that also gives a problem, because a batsman must go out to the side in order to accommodate Imlach. So those are questions that they have to ask. I don't believe in New Zealand they will need a lot of spin. I wouldn't, you'd probably only need in the game itself, maximum one spinner. I don't see at any point them playing two spinners. So, if that one spinner is going to be Warwican, you've got to question whether do you play Warwican or do you play Chase as the lone spinner and add a batter to the side or another faster bowler. Those are questions that's going to have to be answered. If you play Warwican and Chase, I think that's probably overkill, because while Chase is also playing as a batter, he can do the same job as a spin bowler. So, those are real questions that the coaching staff will have to answer before the test match. The combination of the team in New Zealand conditions, and also the combination to ensure that they've got the best possible team to compete. So, as well as playing against a very good side, they have got worries in terms of their own team makeup.
Thank you very much for that. Ivor, we heard from the question. We have a backup feed there. Ivor, are you
okay?
Yeah. The question directed to Darren Sammy about the workload of Shea Hope.
Still feedback, Dennis.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, wait.
Well,
Okay.
I
Not
said in my
finished yet.
case.
Oh. Ivor, the question was directed to Sammy. Sammy said that Shea Hope prefers it this way. Is that the right decision or the wrong decision?
All wrong decision. Cricket is a team sport. It doesn't matter what Shea prefers, is what the team prefers. Again, I'll say, horses for courses. I don't mind that we have a vice captain maybe in other scenarios. But here it is, we're down in New Zealand, where we know team bowlers often do well. And we're going to use Warwican as the vice captain. If our captain go down, you tell me we're going to use him just to captain the team? Or would we embarrass him by leaving him out of the team and ask perhaps Shea Hope to captain the team? Why did you just couldn't name Shea Hope as the vice captain, and in the white ball, Chase as the vice captain? She's there in the team. We don't need that. Athenaeus can bowl spin. We need the batting, so you know that Chase is going to play. So we're embarrassing Warwican as the vice captain, who I do not believe has a place in the team in New Zealand. So with Darren Sammy answering about Shea Hope having this say, no, we need a team. You need to put a square peg in a square box. You cannot just to please this one person when you know he's going to be burnt out. He will be burnt out mentally, physically. These guys are not 20 years old. Shea Hope is not 20 years old. We all know how grueling cricket is, especially in the test format. So I disagree with Darren Sammy to leave it in the hands of a Shea Hope. What is best for the team? You must look for the team first. And Shea Hope, if you're telling me you can only keep and bat, and then you're coming up with 20 or 30. No, you have to concentrate on every ball as a keeper. Every ball. Every throw coming back into the wicket keeper. Not only ball delivered, keeping is a full-time job. Every throw coming in. You have to have the legs to get up to the stumps. Run out. You yourself have to become maybe short, fine leg. You have to run here, run there. We can't leave it up to Sheho. And you know that this guy is not a 19-year-old or 15-year-old making his debut. If you're thinking long term, if you're thinking short term and you're just going to end his career here in New Zealand, okay, fine. If you want to end it here and say, I'll give it my all, get burnt out, and I'm done, okay, fine. But this is not a long-term thing to be asking your wicketkeeper, who is carrying the mantle as a captain in 2 formats, and as a senior player now, even though he was out of the game, we must consider him a senior batter. He must be advising that captain. I don't care if Warrington is vice captain. If Shea Hope is worth his salt, he must be involved in every aspect. And even in team meeting, whatever, we expect him to be a part of, not to go sit down and relax and rest your brain. So I don't agree with Sammy. Sorry.
Thank you, Ivor. And we're coming to you next, Professor, but let me just ask Virgil if he agrees with what Ivor has just said.
Be honest and tell you the truth, I went off a little while ago, so I did not catch what he was saying.
Okay. All right. Thank you. While you think about it, Professor, you had a comment earlier.
Oh, yes, Brother Dennis. I do not want to second guess the makeup of the team. I am confident that every member that has been selected would qualify if we never had other cricketers that we thought might or should have been on the team. What I would observe, however, that across sports, every team has a superstar who breaks out of the pack, and he assumes a sizable load. And that's why I call him team leader. Whether it be a LeBron James or a running back or a quarterback or Messi or Ronaldo, each region is going to produce a superstar, and the team look at that player as their leader, the evolution of the wolf pack, the alpha male. So if Shea Hope is the alpha male, then it stands to reason that he's going to lead by example. He's going to carry more load so that the rest of them don't slacken off because they have a leader to follow. That is how the composition of team normally evolves. The one makes the others better. He makes the other players better. So he becomes captain, he becomes leader, not just in cricket, but across all sports. The Usain Bolt drives the others to and challenge them to catch me if you can. I don't take days off. I don't take nights off. The fans are coming out to see Shea Hope. They want to see Shea Hope bat. Yes, I do understand that you still, at a certain point, might be moderating the time, the amount of time he spends on the field. So yes, it might be okay if we had a better substitution rule that after he has batted in the second inning of the series, that you might substitute him and have somebody on the field to replace him because he's your superstar. So yes, it is for the captain to find a way to manage it so that the burnout that we talk about, rightly speak about, does not take place, not only for Shea Hope, but even for some of the other members of the team. But at the same time, when you're playing ODI, you only spend about, 3 or 4 hours on the field? It's not like you're playing test matches every time anymore. We're spending 5 days out there, and then you have to take 3 days off, do another 5 days. These guys go out and 2.5 hours, they're back drinking champagne. So the tiredness, I don't see that. I don't see that. You bowl 5 overs. I don't see burnout after 5 overs. Okay, not the 15 over days that you used to have when you're playing test cricket. So if you play 3 ODI and then you're doing one test, 3 ODI does not measure up to one test. So I have to say that I'm satisfied with the team as long as it's well managed.
Thank you. Leon, we've
Yes.
seen
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dennis.
there's somebody has 2 item open there. It's causing a feedback. Leon, yes, the question, Leon, we've seen that West Indies performance, they tend to be more successful when they bat second. Is that something that is...
There is a tendency among the West Indies for them to chase. I don't particularly believe that it should be so in all cases. It depends on the situation that, well, you may redo the pitch to help your quick bowlers early on and field, okay? But back to the Shai Hope, I've noticed a trend that is following. I watch how they use Joel Andrew. He was wicket keep. They're moving from wicket keep to put him at number 7 and bring back Hope. I see Ganga came in this side. He can hardly get a knock. And I believe that he should rotate the strike. I've seen Shai Hope feel like an expert in the field in IPL, taking great catches. Nothing wrong with if you interchange and put one of these guys who can hold the stumps, give them a chance to showcase themselves too. And I believe no man have all the energy. We need players to stay there and make double centuries. They're hardly having players making centuries. Shai Hope is one who has made centuries in recent times. But we want him to make more. He's supposed to be the leading batter in our side. And we're not getting that production from him. And it could well be his being used by the wicket as a wicketkeeper all the time. We have 3 wicketkeepers. Of course, if you count the guy from Trinidad, he is there knocking on the door too. But I do not want to see him being held as a wicketkeeper. Your primary use to me would be batting in the middle order for 3 or 4 and make double century. I'm not satisfied with a century from Shai Hope. He's supposed to make more runs than that. But give somebody a chance behind the wicket sometimes, and that will help you to reserve your energy so you can go on to have a long nap. So I agree that he's overused behind his stump, and if he is allowed to do that, I don't think it's right.
All right, thank you, Leon. Brother Dale, now we're changing topics here. What is your assessment of the England performance in Australia in this first test match?
Right now, test cricket requires, as we all know, a lot of patience, digging deep, taking your time and batting. And England showed, especially in this game, a blatant disregard for trying to build innings. They went out there swinging, and of course, whatever they want to call it, the intent was not there to bat for long periods of time. And I think given their fast bowlers, if you notice, they will tell you that the pitch was playing whatever. I just simply think that the fast bowlers did not have enough time to recover to bowl well in the second inning. Because, for example, when West Indies had all the fast bowlers, one of the things that they never did was try to score too fast, because they had to give the bowlers a chance to rest up so they can come back fresh. So Greenidge and Haynes and Lloyd, they could hit the ball all over the park, but they did not do that. They would grind the opposition down, make sure that they got tired, and not that when we bowled at them, we were fresher than them. If you look at the English bowlers in the first inning, they look like, they were a terror to the Australian batsmen. Steve Smith was completely uncomfortable. None of them were comfortable with Archer's pace and everything. But then by the second inning now, they had lost that venom that they had in the first inning. Whereas Australia, even though Stark is older, he had younger bowlers assisting him, and they know how to manage their energy. So England and their attitude and playing a certain brand of ball, okay, fine, you do it. When you win, you look good. But when you lose, there's no reason at this standard, even with the bowling at its best, there's no reason for 4 innings to be completed with you scoring almost at 5 runs and over, for it to be completed in 2 days, within 2 days. And I'm disappointed that, with their attitude that they chose to take. Even when Harry Brook was making runs, he was charging down the wicket, taking on the fast bowlers and hitting them all over the place. How long is that going to last? The law of averages tell you either he's gonna make this super magnificent century or he's gonna get out. Even with Head, he came out, hit the ball all over the place, and they couldn't get him until the match was lost. So it was not typical, let's get down to business and bat. And we saw a great contrast with South Africa, who showed, even in what they term, what I don't like, Sir Dennis, and I'm going to end at this. Whenever the bowlers take wickets, it's because the pitch is not good. And that is a very, very faulty line of reasoning. We don't give the bowlers credit that they bowled so well. We really don't. Whenever, the pitch, the quality of the pitch, the ball was bouncing too much. What are you talking about? Don't the bowlers have skills? I hear it said a batsman is not supposed to get out. Why not? Isn't it an equal opportunity game? Or at least supposed to be like that? So I think the batsmen are batting recklessly, and when they come off, they look like geniuses, but most of the time they're not going to get off. And that is why Joe Root is still England's best batsman no matter what. And when he fails, they are in trouble.
All right, thank you, Brother Dale. And I know you've just echoed words that are music to Virgil's ears, but I'll get back to Virgil in a moment. Roland, did England become too complacent and expectant of repeating Australia's first innings? In other words, did they think they had it in the bag? Is that why they failed?
Well, listen, I don't think they felt they had it in the bag. When you play against Australia, it is not easy to get them in the bag. I mean, I'm in a chat here with a lot of cricketers and others, and after England bowled Australia in the first innings, they were all celebrating the victory. I had to send them a message to say, don't write Australia off just yet, because Australia is not a team that gives up easily. If you follow the history of Australian cricket, there have been many, many, many occasions over the time where the team has been down, but somebody pulls them out of trouble. So they're a fighting team that can show the unexpected. Now, I think where England lost this game is, I think, the second half of their innings, in their batting efforts in both innings. They were in comfortable batting positions, and they lost the last 5 wickets for very little. Similarly, in the second innings, they made an excellent start. Where the score was 170 for 1. And then, you get bowled out for 160. those are areas of concern. Now, you go back to the last test match of the summer against India, where they chased that huge target for victory, but then should have walked it. And again, they had that collapse at the end and ended up losing the game, India winning the test match, series being drawn. So I think, you're seeing the problem there for England, because it hasn't just happened once, it hasn't just happened twice. It's happened on many occasions that from a winning position, maybe that same aggressive, complacent moments kick in, and they're losing wickets in bundles. And at the end of the day, if they scored another 20, 30 runs, it would have been a game on. Australia would have had to play certainly a lot better. It allowed Australia a chance, because once it's just over 200, even on the wicket where it's helping the bowlers, 200s, there's a chance of getting 200. You may still have to play well, but obviously the way things went with Head in particular, he took the game away completely from England. But I believe that this result is exactly what England needs. Really is, they need an early wake-up call. I believe they will get better in this series. I still think it will be a close series, but that was the wake-up call that this team needs to realize that you're in with the big boys. You can't just be flat track bullies. You're playing against the top team, and they can match you in the same way that you want to play the game. So it should be a good series. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution there. Virgil, I know Dale said something that pleased you. Can you expound or expand on what Dale said?
Be honest, I did not. I nod off a little bit, so I did not hear what he has said. But to me,
well, let me just give you 2 words. He said the bowlers are not getting credit.
Well, I kind of suspect that he does. I mean, that's what he said, but I didn't really hear. But for me, as I always said, we don't give the bowlers enough credit. When you have a pitch and the pitch is for the batman make 500 runs, everybody happy. And when we have a pitch that good enough, and I mean the bowler getting the reward from it, everybody complain about bad batting, the batman. I mean, nobody want to give the credit to the bowler. What do a bowler have to do to get cricket? Because it's easy for batman to get credit than the bowlers. I just don't understand, because it's not the batman alone playing, it's both of them playing. I want to get wicket, you want to make runs. I'm going to have my day, you're going to have your day. So when I have my day, give me the credit for what I do, because the next match, I might get ball 15 over, next thing 100 runs come off of my over. The following one now, I bowl 10 over and I get 8 wicket. But then everybody now said, okay, man, wonderful bowling. Even though they're watching the game and see what happened, they can complain and say the batman didn't bat properly. But in all, I like to see when you go both ways. When the batman doing good and when the bowlers is dominating, you have to give credit. Everybody wants, most people will say, no, oh, test match is done in 4 days. So, I mean, not going to 5 days. There's a reason for that. Bowlers is getting the reward what they put in. When they're not getting in the reward and it goes for 5 days and nobody win, you're still complaining. But in all, we have to give the bowlers credit. It just, everything is fast speed right now. It just like today, I was watching, I don't know if you guys know about sailing when you watch American's Cup. 20 years ago, it used to be just the regular sailing boat. Now they have boat that going faster than the wind. So in technology, people watching, doing stuff to make everybody improve on certain things. So just like the bowler improving, don't kill the game and said, we should get rid of it because it only lasts in 4 days. It's gonna happen. So credit to all to the bowlers that did good, and for me, I love to see that. I love to see when the bowlers do good. So that make me happy.
Thank you, Virgil. And I see Leon straining to get some things out.
Just screaming, but I'm so excited because I think Test cricket is very much alive. But the expert is saying that England lost that Test match because they batted poorly in both innings. No, seldom anybody's talking about Head's 64 ball century. That is a factor. When a batsman makes runs, he doesn't have as much assistance as when a bowler gets wicket. I'm going to repeat that. When a batsman makes runs, he doesn't get much assistance like when a bowler gets. A bowler has to depend on the wicketkeeper to take his catches, a fielder to take his catches. An LBW decision could go either way. He has to depend on an umpire to give him an LBW decision. What a batsman has, a batsman doesn't have an assistant, but sometimes running between the wickets. So the experts are saying in England and elsewhere that England lost the Test because they batted poorly on both innings.
Mm-hmm.
Australia batted poorly in one innings, and they batted with Head's innings, turned the tide. So I don't believe you can say you got to take 10 wickets to win a match. Your batting has to have to play a part. The way you feel has to play a part. The way the umpire decision has to play a part in whether you get a fair decision or unfair decision. Here is it. If a ball just hits the outside edge of a stump and the umpire says, not out, he stays not out, right? But if he says, you're out, you stay out. Now, my point is, every aspect of the game has to be taken into account, and a bowler get more assistance in helping to win a match than a batsman. That's my point.
Thank you. And
can I just say something, Mr. Francis, bring up a point about the ball edge? I'm going to ask Mr. Rowland a question because for me, I think it's unfair and it can be cheated.
Exactly.
Now, listen to my point, Mr. Rowland. I bowled 3 ball. I appealed for the 3 ball. The umpire said not out. He clipped in the stump. Now you bowl the same identical 3 ball. And the umpire said out. And you get your wicket. Don't you think that's unfair?
Yeah, you're asking me that question.
Yes.
Well, right now they're using technology, so
yeah, the reason why I asked that question because here what happened. For me, I think if the ball is hitting, clipping, knocking out our stump, as long as you're touching the stump, whether the umpire said out or not, and you repeal it, and he said he's hitting the stump, you should be out. Because if an umpire wants to cheat, he can say not out, not out, not out, and the ball clip the stump, and you never get a wicket. And the other side, he can say out, 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 and the ball clip the stump, and you get a wicket. So if you're using technology, I think you should go all the way out with the technology and make it even for both sides.
Well, my view on that has always been I would much prefer to see with the technology that the ball is hitting the stump and not the outside of the stump. So that's always been my view, because when it's hitting the outside of the stumps, then that's where the situation comes in where people think, well, could that have missed or would that have missed?
Yeah.
I would prefer to see it. Those decisions given not out, and it must hit the stump, not the outside, not the top.
Okay.
But that wouldn't make it'll make it even for everybody.
Yeah,
If it
all
goes
right.
that way, it'll be
It'd be
better.
even for everybody.
Thank
There'd
you,
be
Virgil.
Yes.
no mistakes.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
Virgil. Thank you, Virgil. Ivor, 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll do it in less.
All right.
19 wickets in one day. All bowlers. Credit to them. Nothing wrong with a third pitch, which we know is bouncy and fast. We know this from time immemorial. Nothing to do with bad batting. It was strictly good bowling. The Englishmen were saying that the English lost because of bad batting. No. There is one guy by the name of Stephen Smith. He knows how to win. Stop undervaluing leadership. Anybody can captain, but you see leadership, it means a lot. And I'm saying again, nobody should be knocking England. They play basketball, cricket, that's how they play. They will come back, they're going to play the same way and win. And you know the thing about it? They don't mind losing a match playing their style of cricket. So you can say England did something out of the ordinary. This is their style. West Indies used to play that way, and we used to win. We turn around, try to play cooperative cricket, and we're losing. I am agreeing with England. Play your style of cricket. That's your style. Win with your style. When another era come in and you have another style, stick to it. Thank you.
Can I just ask a question? If you were a coach of an England side, would you have been entirely happy with a lot of the strokes that was played? Were they magic balls or poor shots?
No, the bowlers put them in that frame of mind to play. They thought they can hit. So I'm giving the bowlers them. They lit up, but the start was just a little bit too much. They went with a mindset, oh, the original captain Cummins is not here, Hazelwood is not here. Their mind will relax. And a lot of time they talk about mind power on this show. Their mind was so relaxed because two of the ace bowlers were not there. That was one of the problems.
Can I say the prime example? Australia versus West Indies.
2 seconds, Virgil.
Yeah, 2 seconds. Australia versus West Indies. When Jones tell Ambrose to take off that wrist, right? A wristband. And Ambrose takes 7 wickets. You telling me up until this day, you never hear they said bad batting by Australia. It was a wonderful spell of bowling. So I don't know how come the bad batting coming now. Wonderful spell of bowling by Ambrose because of what Dean Jones get under his skin. And what? You're going to tell me this guy's bad or Ambrose bowl well? So you guys can answer that question.
All right. Thank you, Virgil. Now we haven't forgotten Donna. But Donna, I'm coming to you after Professor has responded to this. He had his hand up.
Yes, Brother Dennis. For me and from my point of view, the key ingredient is preparation. Preparation against the team that you're playing against. Do the bowlers know the batter, individual batter that they're going to be bowling against? Do they know their weakness and their strength? Do they go over that with their captain before the game, looking at the data, how that bowler was removed or how that bowler was hitting 6s and 4s, and bowling against his strength? The bowler learns from the batter. The batter learns from the bowler, because the batter should know what to expect from the bowler when he's bowling against him. Otherwise, he has not done his homework. So the question is whether or not we are analyzing or we are criticizing. From an analytical point of view, we say that the bowler is supposed to study the batter and the batter is supposed to study the bowler. And when you come to the plate or you come to the pitch, you have a 60 or 70% knowledge of what to expect, because bowlers are creatures of habit and batters are creatures of habit. Okay? They might try to make an adjustment, and that is when they end up getting bowled or getting out. You're going for a ball that should be a defensive stroke and you try to drive it into cover and you get caught. Preparation is where you ask if the captain is advising his team when they take the field and what to expect. Okay, how do you defend against this bowler? He's fast, yes, so don't try to pull him. You're going to be late. Okay?
All right.
So I look at preparation as a key ingredient to their success.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Donna, two things. Give me your comments on the England performance, and once you've done that, I'd like you to tell us what you think of the India-South Africa match.
Well, for the Englishmen, I was really appalled that having had a 30 or 41 lead, I think, that they would go back and bat so poorly in the second innings. I would say that the bowlers, as Virgil would say, they did a remarkable job causing them to play in error. But I don't know. You have to say good bowling. The bowlers caused them to go into error. But it was also a poor batting performance. That's how I see it. With India and South Africa, I must say that South Africa, to me, they were batting very, very, very slow. And it took them almost 2 days to make those runs. But I don't know if they have it in their head that they want to bat once. But they batted slow to me because I went along to sleep, and then when I got up, I said, wait, it's because it seemed to me like India just batted for like an hour at the end of the day or something like that. But I don't know what they're hoping for. I'm going to see what happens tonight on the third day to see if India is going to fight back and try to get close enough to that 400 and whatever is the score there, 4 something.
All right, thank you, Donna. Brother Dale, do you think South Africa is playing for a draw in this series? Or at least this match rather than the series?
Well, it's a 2-match series.
Okay.
There's no reason for them to take any chances. They need to bat India out of the game. And they went back to what I would call good old-fashioned batting, and batting to protect their wickets and make sure that they don't gift their wickets to anyone. India has been a middling team for the past 3 years. No one wants to admit that, but they have been a 500 team, if we want to use baseball parlance. They win and they lose. They lose and they win. They're not a consistent test team. They're not as good as people think that they are. And even England, you know, we get all of these people telling us how when they criticize, for example, when India lost the other day, it's because the pitch is substandard. That's why they lost. Yet Temba Bavuma sat down there against the vaunted English bowlers and batted. So do we praise Bavuma for what he did, or do we subtract and say it's the wicket? Why South Africa won? But you look at India, the last few series, if they lose this series, by the way, they would have lost 2 series at home back to back now. And last year, even in the last World Championship cycle, they won 9 games and lost 8 games. They are a middling team. If it wasn't for the style that England plays in, you wouldn't talk about them that much because they are inconsistent. And that is just the plain, simple truth. But because we are being sold the idea that these teams are so great and so wonderful, most of the times people buy it. But I don't think that they are, you know, I am happy, and remember South Africa is also playing without their best bowler. And the bowler that bowled down England is just a regular, ordinary guy that has no pedigree. If you listen to how they talk about him, he has no pedigree, but he bowled down the vaunted in their batting lineup.
All right. Thank you, Brother Dale. Roland?
Can I get 10 seconds to just help Donna here a little bit? Because he's saying that South Africa batted slow, but they batted with over 3 runs and over, and that's acceptable in Test cricket. I wish West Indies can bat for 3-point-something runs and over and bat out the days. And to keep India in the field for over 150 overs, job well done. You have to look at it, Donna, from a wholesome point of view. 150 overs they had to bowl. Well done.
Point made. Thank you, Ivor. Roland, I was about to ask for your insights onto what may have been the motivation for the way South Africa has performed in this particular test match.
Well, I think you've got to look further than this test series. You know, South Africa have won 11 of the last 12 test matches. What does that tell you? That tells you that there's a team very much on the rise, a consistent team, quietly going about its business. None of the other teams have won 11 out of 12, and South Africa are currently world champions. So while the focus is on India and Australia, South Africa are the best team in the world. They're the world champions. So, you know, this performance in India is tremendous. I just heard they said that Harmer is a novice. Harmer is an excellent bowler. Harmer went to India. His first time was 2015. As a young person, they lost the series. He was dropped after that. Then after that, he came to England on the Kolpak series. Harmer, for the last 10 years in England, has been the top bowler for 9 years. So that's a level of consistency that he has displayed in county cricket over the last 9-10 years. No other bowler in this country has done that. So he is now a much better bowler than he ever was. You know, he'll tell you that, you know, after he was dropped from that, he realized that perhaps he was a bit young and wasn't ready. He took it upon himself to go and work with a coach in India. And he said he found out so much more about spin bowling. So right now, he is a top bowler. He bowls more overs than any spinner that I ever see. Essex gives him the ball and he just bowls. So don't feel that he won't do it again in this series, because he is that good a bowler.
All right. Appreciate that input there. Professor, you had your hand up. Is that question? Yeah, we see you fighting to unmute. Are you?
No,
Okay.
Brother Dennis. I think Jatin wanted to say something.
All right. Yes, we'll put him. We'll coach.
Yes, sir. What are you talking about?
We're discussing the India-South Africa match in progress.
Well, this is another test going to wrap up on 4th day.
Yes. Now the question
India
is
not expected to win at all, because these players don't have that, I call it temperament or attitude to play test cricket.
Is that India or South Africa?
India.
Okay.
They are doing it last 2 years. Look at how many losses now, 8 of them. And all of them horrible, including one of them like 45 not out against New Zealand. What do you expect?
Well, what is the cause of that? What's happening to the much vaunted
There are
juggernaut.
multiple things. Number one is there is no consistency. There is no plan to keep this team. You can't make that many changes all of a sudden, right? Now you let it go senior players for a reason. And now you are bringing like, have you ever seen the team where 8 people can bowl? All-rounders, bowlers. If this is the case, you're going nowhere. Test match is about you need to have at least 5 true batsmen who knows how to play the game.
But coach, let me excuse me interrupting, but there was a time when we heard this statement that India could field 2 or 3 team capable of beating any other national side.
You can create 5 teams, but to win the game, you need the true team, which they don't have it. Combination, we call it, the team chemistry, right? If we go back to the 70s, what the West Indies had, 4 good bowlers who can take care of the side, 4 good batsmen who can take care of the batting. You don't want 8 players who can bowl and bat, right? 3 keepers in the same team. What do you expect? The specialist keeper is only good behind the stumps. So what these other 2 keepers are doing? So the formula is messed up, and believe it or not, there is you might have heard from the legend Sunil Gavaskar, leave the ego in the locker room. So the thing is there. By the way, the current coach is not really a coach. He used to be a test player, right? Now he is a member of parliament, the elected official on political side. And he's taking care of business. And he is using his power. The person, all-rounder who's supposed to come at number 8, he's sending at number 3.
All right. Well,
now give me a break. That country has like 100,000 cricketers, and he can't find 11 good players.
All right, coach, we hear you, and I think Leon is just chomping at the bits. Leon.
Coach, couldn't England bat better than how South Africa batted? Here is Jensen, a guy who just learned to bat the other day. He was a bowler. I'm making 93. And here is a 36-year-old guy from South Africa spinning his way. And we're trying to wear good spinner in the West Indies. I say England batted badly in the second innings. Despite the excellent performance with Stark and Boland. They bowled well. I'm not denying that. But England batted worse than ever. And that is the main root of their downfall. We need to tell them stop this baseball. There shouldn't be no baseball in this test cricket meant.
So they are trying to do the different experiment. Yeah.
Something is radically wrong.
On the
No
Marco
experiment
Jensen.
with my pleasure. I need to see good test match. Bat well and defend. Hope when Khalid Sherman get those short pitch, what did he do? Dispatch them. If you get short pitch.
Test match is going away. Look at that. 19 wickets fall on a day one.
One day.
If we have to go back, the original test format when I was growing up in elementary school used to be a 6-day test match. You play 2 or 3 days, then you got the rest day, and then you finish the test, another 2 or 3, right? Now, I think if the ICC is listening or some board members listening anywhere in the world, I recommend, can we stop these 2 rest days? If you're going to finish this 3-day test and the players are resting for 2 days, get rid of it. Right?
In other words, make test 3-day match affair?
Yeah. And by the way, on Leon's comment on that Marco Jensen 93, every bowler out there in the world, believe it or not, they have a strong wrist and the shoulders. If you give them 2 hours of good batting, they'll smack the ball in boundaries. Didn't Jason Gillespie score 200 in a test cricket?
Yes,
against Bangladesh, coming
he
as
was
a night watchman?
He was an Aborigine. But I'm going back to Jensen. Jensen batted well.
Yeah.
Against one of the best fast bowlers in the world, Boomerang, best Yorker.
Okay. Well,
and England could have done the same thing against Stark and company. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you all. We have overshot our end time, and I think we have to wrap it up right there. I will give Brother Dale the very last point on this discussion before we say goodnight.
Thanks, Sir Dennis. I think again, when that match is going to be played, depend on who we think should win the game, we make our comments based on that. And again, I look at India, for example, the last 12 matches that they have played, they have won 4 and have lost 6. I look at England, the last 10 matches that they played, they won 5 and lost 4. What's all the ballyhoo about them? On the other hand, the last 11 games that Australia played, they won 9 of them and lost 1. On the other hand, South Africa played 11 games, won 9 of them and lost 1. So if you look at it simply from that, who are the 2 hot teams? Who have the world championship team? Why don't we expect Australia to win the game? I don't care what the batsman does. Their bowling attack was more consistent and the bowlers bowled better. That's all it came down to. South Africa, same thing. The one again, and I say tongue in cheek because I know who Harmer is. He bowled down India in India. He out-bowled their spin bowlers, their vaunted spin bowlers. But if you look at India, they are a below average team. They lose more than they win. And I don't care where they're playing the match.
Right. We think that will probably be the last word for tonight. I want to say a very special thank you to Roland for joining us. We know that it is way, way, way past your bedtime. As for Hyacinth, she's in the same location as Roland, and it's way, way past her bedtime. We appreciate your taking the time to be with us tonight. We look forward to your being able to join us next Sunday when we will have Tom Moffat from World Cricket Association as our guest. Thank you all. Professor, your contribution, thank you. Brother Dale, we appreciate it. President Leon Francis of the Cricket Show USA, appreciate your being here and all you've done to keep this show on the road for 15 years. Virgil, thank you once again for chipping in and taking comments and defending the bowling. Coach, well, we know coach is coach and you'll always be here and what you contribute. Donna, thank you, and thank you. Once again, Hyacinth, thank you. Mertris, thank you for being there. And Ivor, we appreciate Caribbean Global Voices as well as yourself. And thank you to the listeners on SosoBone Media Network, radio and TV, and of course, the 2020 Vision listeners. Thank you for being there with us. And of course, to all those on our streaming platform, thank you again. Reach out to us and don't forget, like us, subscribe, and come back next Sunday.